Good. You haven't changed at all. You got the same smile.
Thanks, man. You look great too, dude.
Thanks.
I watch all your videos every time you do your acoustic shows and shit, man. I'm always watching.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. You know, it as the years went on, you know, I learned how to play guitar a little better, and and decided, if I'm going to be taking care of a whole family, and of course it's going to be music,
Yep.
then sometimes just being in one band, doesn't cut it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree, man. It's great to do that. You're doing this. I did one yesterday with Ralph from Steel Panther.
Cool.
He's a good buddy of mine that we used to play together in some disco bands and stuff. And I did one with my vocal coach that I sent you.
Right.
Yeah, you should check it out. Listen to it. I think you'd enjoy that because you're a great singer at heart. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
There's so many different approaches to voice. I try to keep it pretty simple.
That's why, this is why I wanted to talk with you. Like, a friend of mine's like, hey, you should have this person, you should have that person, and I'm like, I want to go to people that are really different in their style and have different approaches. Like Alex, my coach, was taught operatically, and he's freaking amazing. Right. It's so insane. Right. And then my buddy Greg Scott, who I did one with him too. He's very old soul, Donny Hathaway. His dad was in a band. He grew up singing in his dad's band and listening to Michael Jackson and dancing to Michael Jackson as a kid. And he's young. It's a lot younger than us.
Yes. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm. So. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, girls. Okay, I'm doing something very important. We'll talk later. All right. Great. Yeah, I'm trying to like get a little privacy. Privacy is a hard thing to find around here. Trust me. We got two 7-year-olds, two twin girls, 7-year-olds, and a 17-year-old boy, and it's constant work.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing, dude. So just to get into it, like first to let you know, like you were such a huge influence on me because I was a guitar player and I always knew I wanted to sing, but I just never thought I could sing. I was like, I found a really good singer in Los Angeles and I was like, he's so good. I'll never sing like this. And I always come back to you in like, the days when you guys wrote like Love Reaction and all those tunes, Cowboy Blues. And I was like, damn, if I could sing, I want to sing like that guy. Like that guy's got this thing, man. And me and my buddy Matt Corey, who grew up on the East Coast, but he lives in Los Angeles as well. He used to, I think he took some lessons from you when he was real young, like 14, 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like he's like, but he never like, I don't remember what we talked about, like things like that. He's like, we talked about the blues and like stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool, and that's why I wanted to get together. What was, how did you first start singing? Was your family singing? Or was it just something you gravitated to? Or
I had my father when I was, my kid's age, 6, 7, 8 years old. I was just a little kid, and my dad used to sing. My father was from Italy, and he came here to the United States just a couple years before he started a family with my sister and I, and so it was one of those situations where. He would sing on Sunday afternoons after dinner. He had a reel-to-reel tape recorder, a really nice one, but this is the 1960s.
Yeah.
So, and he would sing all these romantic Italian love songs, Arrivederci Roma, and he would just sing all these Italian songs, and he was like really awesome.
Right.
So I would just, I'd be really impressed. And my sister and I, of course, the Beatles and the Stones and everything in between, we grew up just loving music and singing. And at a really young age, I was pretty sure I was going to do this. It was one of those things where when everybody was in school saying, well, I want to be a policeman and I want to be a fireman and I want to be a baseball player, I was like, I want to be a rock and roll singer.
Yeah.
So it was something that, that I knew.
Right.
And my father was a really good singer, though he never went after it professionally. He did horses. He was a horse trainer, and steeplechase jockey. So he was in a whole other field, pretty cool field, but different than singing. Singing to him was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then around 13 years old, I saw that there was a realistic. My sister was a year older than me, and she had gotten into some really cool singing opportunities that were offered to me as well. So, and I was young. I was like in between like 8th and 9th grade. And I got a chance to join this group that sang and did shows for like, Rotary Club, elderly people, and, just anybody who would take us,
Right.
And so I started singing. That's how I started singing. And there was like a local television show in this area, in the Springfield area. There was a Channel 22 had a show called Kitty Today. And it was just a local TV show. And, when I sang on that show, and I got a lot from it. And from that, they had, the people asked me to sing in the Miss Massachusetts pageant. And some local pageants and stuff. So, they wanted me to be some kind of crooner, but I kept saying, I want to be in a rock and roll band. That's all I cared about.
Right.
So, I got an agent, and she was trying to get me into Broadway and things like that. And I was 13, 14 years old. And I was like, nah, I want to join a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
So by the time I was 15, I joined a rock and roll band in high school. And it became a band that, for 7 years after I got out of high school, Justin was the name of the band, and it was pretty professional.
I remember. Yeah, I remember Justin. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so during my 4 years of high school, I had a voice teacher.
You did? Okay, so that was the next question. Did you study?
Yeah.
So, yeah, here we go.
Yes. And his name was John Cheney. And he was, a director, a choral director, as well as a orchestra director. And he used to sub in for Robert Guter, who at the time was a conductor of the Springfield Symphony Orchestra and Chorus. So, my sister and I got a chance to sing for the Springfield Young People's Symphony, which was really great because I got a chance to be in a chorus singing, like Haydn and real heavy duty classical music.
Right.
With a full orchestra.
Wow.
It was really hip, because it was huge. It was huge. It was just big with the strings and the So, but of course, I wanted to be a rock and roll band, so that's all that mattered to me, And,
right.
And I learned a lot from my teacher.
You remember anything offhand that like still sticks to your mind as brain? Like, I still breathe the way he told me, or I still do this vowel this way, or
yes, I tell all my students that whenever I try to teach them something and they give me that look like I don't understand, I always, go back to my experiences, and I tell them, I actually used to argue with my voice teacher. He used to tell me you're a first tenor, and I'd say, nah, I'm a baritone, and he'd say, nah, you're a first tenor, and I'd be like, I can't hit the high notes, and he'd say, you can hit the high notes, you just don't understand how to control your voice in that area,
right.
So. The high notes were really difficult for me. So I didn't just take what he taught me. I tried to take what he taught me and make it easier for my students, because by the time it started, making sense to me,
yep,
I was already, like 20, 21 years old, and a bell went off, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's starting to work. and then I started, feeling the range occur in my voice. It didn't help that I was, vocally handicapped. I was like prone to every illness that there was, respiratory wise.
Oh, really?
Since I can remember. And I still am, it gets rough. Somebody catches a cold, I get it. And then I get it, and it's all, it's in my throat, and I'm like,
of course, it's going to go to your throat, not to your big toe. It's got to go to your throat, right?
It's got to go to my lungs and my throat, and it makes it really hard to sing.
Yeah.
But there's a few things I tell my students. One thing that's really important is I tell them you have to sing with the voice that you woke up today with, because every day is a new day. You don't have yesterday's voice.
Right.
You slept that off. Today's a new day. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not here. You have a voice you wake up with today. You wake up one day and your voice is a bit scratchy and it's a little, what's going on? And, I'm a little hoarse today. That's the voice you have today. So, and you only have one voice, and it's today. Today is the only day that matters. Yesterday's gone. It's only a memory.
Right.
Tomorrow's not here yet. Right. So I try to, really tell students that you have to sing with the voice you woke up with today.
Right.
And God rest his soul. Ronnie Dio was a big influence on me. And when I was younger, I was in my 20s, I got a chance to meet him and talk to him.
Oh, wow.
And it was backstage at a concert that he was doing with the Heaven and Hell guys.
Yeah.
When it was still called Black Sabbath.
Right.
And they had just recorded Heaven and Hell.
Yep.
And they came out on tour. And I had a backstage pass, and I had a Rainbow t-shirt from
awesome.
Rainbow in LA.
Yep.
The not Rainbow the band, Rainbow the club in LA.
Oh, okay, the Rainbow Bar and Grill. Right, okay.
And he just looks right at me and he's like, I know the t-shirt, he says, do you know Mario? And I said, no, I've never been there. I go, my light man gave it to me. When he was on tour, he went there, but I've never been there or whatever. So, he starts talking to me, finds out I'm a singer and whatever, and just, has lots of questions. And, he was really cool. And our conversation wasn't as much about singing as it was on his last tour ever. I saw him twice on that tour.
Wow.
And he knew a friend of mine. So he, it was easy for him to say, oh yeah, Livio, and you're a singer. And he goes, hey, do you warm up a lot before singing?
Right.
And I just looked at him and I said, maybe I should. I really don't.
You don't.
I just test my voice and then I warm up on stage. And I thought I was going to get lambasted. And he looked at me and he said, good.
Really?
He said, too many singers are spending too much time warming up.
That's
and
me.
They peak before they hit the stage.
Wow.
And it spoke volumes to me.
Yeah.
Since then, I've changed a bit in my teaching, and I promote warming your voice up, but it's more of a quick warm up and a vocal check at the same time to see where your three voices are. You have your chest voice, you have your head voice, then you have falsetto.
Right.
And what I like to do is pick a vowel, which is e, a, o, or u.
Right.
It's A-E-I-O-U, but it's Latin because that's what the vocal cords understand.
Right.
They understand 5 vowels, E, A, O, and U. And that's it. That's the only thing your vocal cords know how to do.
Right.
Everything else is a consonant, and that happens this quickly. The k, t, p, o. They happen so quickly. Everything else that's coming out is a vowel.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is I like to take, again, the first thing I always say is everything you sing is a vowel.
Right.
Next is warm up your voice and test your voice at the same time. See what voice you woke up with today.
Right.
And I like to do what I call a siren, which is I start very low and I take a vowel. I'll start with the and I'll go,
Okay.
Start low, go all the way up and come back down. And you can see where your three voices are, where you feel where you break into your, there's nothing pretty about it.
Right.
But it works. And then you go to E and do the same thing. Ah, O, and U. By the time you're done with all 5 vowels, you're basically warmed up. Now you're ready to sing. So you can sing anytime after that, and your voice is, and you kind of understand, well, my head tones are a little shaky today, or, I cracked a couple times. Maybe I need to, usually by the time you're done, all the cracking is gone, and then I like to do what I call waterfalls, and it's imagine a waterfall, and I usually do them after the sirens, and I start at a very high note, and I cascade down like a waterfall, and I'll do it. Let's say on an ah, I'll go ah,
right.
And just kind of go through them, again, it's in 5 minutes or less.
Right.
You've basically used all your ranges. You have warmed up your voice enough so that you can get on stage and find a peak on stage and never burn your voice out.
So you said something interesting, because I'm kind of like vocal nerd guy, because I had to learn to sing. I didn't have any voice, and I just I got to learn. So I bought every book ever in the last 25 years. I've studied with every famous quote vocal coach, and I've done everything. So everyone's got their different ways of describing it. So you said 3 voices. You said chest, head voice, falsetto. So a lot of people consider their falsetto their head voice, or vice versa. Head voice is falsetto, falsetto is head voice. How do you distinguish the two? Like, what are the two sounds as falsetto versus headphone?
Right. You have to do the same thing with your body to use your head voice or your falsetto. Here's the difference. Your head voice is where the chest breaks into the head.
Okay.
Falsetto is that high. It's the high head voice, that real, almost like, like what, Phil Bailey used to do with, it's small, it's thin. It's
more reasons,
yeah.
That we're here. It's that.
Right. Now, I think you're a little lower. You're more the head voice. Reasons that we're here. But if you want to go, reasons that we're here. Now you're getting.
So
now you're getting towards falsetto, while the head voice is a little lower.
Okay.
Head voice kings. Steve Perry from Journey was like head voice king. That guy had a head voice that just wouldn't quit, and he breathed real deep. So the head voice had a lot of air behind it.
Okay.
And then, no 2 vocal cords are the same. Everybody's got their own tone and their own, and he just had a really amazing tone, and it sounded like his head voice was like a really high chest voice, and the same thing with Robert Plant in the early days.
Yeah.
It's like a very full, it's all head voice.
Yeah.
But it's at the same time, it's wide. You open the vocal cords and you let a lot of air come through.
Okay.
When it gets higher, it gets thinner.
Okay.
And that's more falsetto.
So when you, like, I loved, so I had heard of you before. I had never seen you, and I had heard of you because I'd been moving around all over the place, and
yeah,
I had heard, of this guy. Oh, yeah, this guy Livio, and you were, did you do a Journey tribute band early on when you were younger?
I did.
You did.
I did.
Because they said, yeah, you should sing a Journey. And then I saw you with the Love Reaction stuff. I went and saw you guys live, and I was like, dude, this guy, like, you. So there was something. Me and my cousin Michael, who's a drummer from the area, Michael Grivalone.
Yeah, Mike Crivalone. Yeah. So I love Mike.
So we would go see you all the time, and I would study you because I was like, because you had this depth in your voice, which I'm going to put like Love Reaction and any other song you want me to put at the end of this video that we do today, or audio, I'm going to put out
those
there.
Those are all great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you had that depth of like the David Coverdale, Paul Rogers, that man, but then you would have the highs where it didn't even sound like you left your chest. It just sounded high. And you used to do this thing like you would, to keep your sound up with your cheeks.
Right.
I remember that. Right. Like I can remember watching, you'd have this thing, Love Reaction, and it was like up here.
Well, and that's because when it would get into my head, I would have to take such a big deep breath, and I would have to like really make my mouth as wide as I could get it and cheeks way up. And I would have to do that just to make it sound like a big round note.
Oh, it sounded amazing. It was amazing.
Or else it would sound like, I was, in a band in the 1960s from Motown, and it's smaller.
Right.
To make it big, that's what I have to do. So
yeah, it was cool. Like I've got, there's something like, 'cause I was trying to learn at the time, and I'm like,
it was head voice.
There's something in his technique that he's doing this thing here, and it's like keeps it like in that spot,
and right, and it kept it big. Yeah. And I got to tell you, the toughest thing is over the years trying to keep the same voice because we change every day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And everything about us changes. Age does different things to the body. And so I'm a, use it or you'll lose it kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I like to sing as many days in a row as I possibly can.
And you sing a lot, man. I mean, every day you're putting up a new video. So you're at some club, some restaurant, then you're
every day.
Perfect Storm. Then you're playing a gig with Jimmy. Then you do another band with this guy. It's like boom,
boom, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I got a solo gig tonight, solo acoustic.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, my American Zeppelin band. I have a Led Zeppelin tribute.
Yep.
So we're playing tomorrow, and that's it for this week. But next week, at least I have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So
what do you do when you get hoarse? Do you get hoarse when you work that many days in a row?
Yeah, I don't get hoarse when I work that many days. My voice actually gets better every day.
Yeah.
That first day, I may get tired somewhere in my performance, or I find that there's a lull that I got to kind of fight through.
Yep.
And the more I work through it, the better I can get through it. And it's one of those things that it's with me. The audience doesn't see it. Because I'll tell, Lisa, my fiance, after I'll say, well, did you hear this or did you hear that? And she's like, are you crazy? You sounded great.
Yeah.
And so I'll know, it's me. It's me that's getting through things. Then the second day, I'm a little better. Third day. By the fourth and fifth day, I'm just singing the sing and it just comes out.
Yeah.
Yep. And you need the rest, so I get but anything more than 2 days rest, if I'm healthy, anything more than 2 days rest is, that's all I really need.
Do you have any, do you do any, like, some people like, I drink tea, I drink water, I like to spray my throat with this or that. Do you have any, like, little remedies that you do?
Oh, yeah. When I'm on stage, and let's say I have, like a cold or, or excessive phlegm,
Yep.
An asthma attack because I got asthma. I've got asthma. It's tough to sing with asthma.
Oh, I can imagine.
Because all the, and I've got bronchitis, kind of chronic bronchitis. So whenever anything is like inflamed, the body tends to make lots of edema, mucus. And it's so hard to sing through any of that.
Yeah.
So what I do is I drink a lot of really hot water, and I just let it go down, and it kind of melts the mucus away, and I get a half a song or a song, like really fresh rather than it being so clamped up. Another thing my doctor helped me with, he said, as you get older, you get a little phlegmier. If you're feeling that way, don't be scared to take 400 milligram guaifenesin.
Yeah, right.
It'll it'll loosen up the mucus so that it just kind of just goes away and doesn't get in the way of the performance.
Right, and that comes in the pack. What's it called on over the counter? It's called
Mucinex.
Mucinex, right.
Right, or you get it. It's less expensive when you buy the generic.
Right.
And it's just called guaifenesin.
Yeah, it's the same deal. Yeah, because it used to not be over the counter, and then now it's over the counter.
Right, it's like getting Motrin that costs a ton of money, or ibuprofen.
Right.
They both do the job.
Yep.
So
hot water, Mucinex when needed, or guaifenesin.
A tea, a little tea in the hot water. But sometimes if I'm at a gig, I've got a hot pot on the side, that boils water pretty quickly, and I just put it in a keep warm cup and just drink it, and it's great. But I got to tell you, I don't always need that. So
right.
Only when needed.
Right. No drugs and alcohol, right? You're pretty much drug and alcohol.
No, I'm thank God I'm drug free. I can't say I don't drink a beer once in a while.
Yeah, right.
When I'm on stage, but it's rare.
Right. Okay. And your favorite singer? So you said Dio was like your favorite, and Steve Perry.
Yeah. Any singer that breathes deep,
Rod Stewart,
and belts it out. Rod Stewart, I really liked at a young age because I had a husky voice, and so I would say, all right, let me look at this other guy that has a really husky voice, and see what he does with it.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to sing cleaner because I liked the cleaner singers.
Steve Perry, yeah, those guys.
Led Zeppelin and Steve Perry and, Styx and things like that. And, I just, as I got older, I started saying, let me just sing with my voice. And
your voice is sick.
See what happens, so.
I'm glad you did, because your voice is like one of my favorites, man. Like growing up, like that was one of the voices. I'm like, I used to practice the Love reaction instead of practicing Jimmy solos. I'd be practicing her vocal.
Well, and I got to tell you, I wrote the vocal to that song at about, I don't know, maybe from midnight to about 1:00 in the morning. Somewhere it took about an hour for me to really get it.
It's great.
And it was really late at night, so I wanted to be really quiet. And so I used a lot of like small falsetto head voice to, love reaction, and then of course.
So you have that tone right there. If I do that tone, it's not going to sound cool and husky like you do. That sounds like you're not going to hurt yourself. You're not overpowering. It's just and it's got the rasp on it. That's so
love
cool.
Reaction. You do it. No. Love reaction.
Mine's going to be love reaction.
To me, it sounds the same.
No, it's not.
To me, that's just a difference, I think, in tone.
Right.
But what you're doing is basically the same. Nowadays, I do all my own backing vocals when I go in a studio.
Yeah.
And I don't put any inflections on my backing vocals. And I just layer very clean head voice things.
Yeah.
And it comes back sounding like I've got a bunch of black women singing, because the vibrato is usually there, though I try to keep it as light as possible.
Right.
And I let my lead vocal have the personality. Excuse me, I think I need to have a drink. But I let my lead vocal have the personality.
Right.
And then I keep it real bland with the backing vocal. And I just do that stuff like what you and I just did.
Right.
You know, in the background. And when it layers over a really strong lead vocal, it's the bomb.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you let me see. So before I let you go, is there like any websites that you want to tell people to go to? That you could tell people, go check this out, check this out.
Well,
Instagram.
My YouTube channel is Livio Music.
Okay.
You know, at YouTube, you know,
yep.
It's Livio Music, one word. No, okay. Livio Music Video.
Okay. Livio Music Video. I'll put it on there. I'll put a link too underneath the little caption.
Right. Livio Music Video is my YouTube. And then I have my my website, which is just liviogravini.com.
liviogravini.com. And I'll put this stuff up. I'll send it to you too. It's just going to be the audio. And I'll put I'm going to put Love Reaction in the beginning before we talk. I'm going to put that on, I guess, one of my all-time favorites.
Cool.
Is there anything me too. Is there anything like in your because I watch your videos all the time, any of your acoustic songs you want me to put up there at the end that would be cool? Anyone specific?
Well, there's it's not going to be audio, not a video.
It'll go up on YouTube, and in the beginning it'll be like unless I could put the video in. That's what I did for like with Steel Panther. I put a little piece of their video up, but when we talk, it's just a picture of Ralph's face, and we're talking. There's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on my liviogravini.com, on my actual website, my solo band,
okay,
which is the Free Spirit Society, Livio Gravini and the Free Spirit Society.
Okay.
There's a song there. The whole band had performed on like a big stage at the Big E. You remember the Big E?
Yeah.
In West Springfield, Mass.
I used to go as a kid.
Like this big, and all the big bands play there and whatever. And there's like a huge stage, and it's the Xfinity stage, and we played on that stage, and did the title cut to my first solo record. It's called No More Secrets.
Okay.
So that video, I think, basically tells her that's what I'm doing today.
Okay, yeah, so I'll throw that in there.
From yesterday to today, the Love Reaction was yesterday.
Yep.
And today it's No More Secrets, and it's a live video.
Okay.
Taken from that performance of No More Secrets.
Okay.
And it's pretty cool. Have a listen to it. But I want you to send me your address, because I'm going to send you a couple CDs.
Okay.
I want to send you my new CDs so you can hear like what I'm doing with my voice now as opposed to years ago. Okay. So I want you to hear that. I really want you to hear some new songs.
Absolutely. And I'm going to ask you one more question, because
sure.
A friend of mine wanted me to ask you this question.
Yes.
Is there any, being that you're like me, we're a lot of times we're cover band singers, so we're singing everybody's music, and we have to kind of change what we do for each singer a little bit, right?
Yes.
Is there any singer that's been like kind of like your nemesis? Like, man, I can't seem to get that dude. Like, I can't seem to really figure him out. I could do this guy. We all sing in the same range, but this guy bothers me.
Ozzy.
Awesome.
I cannot sing Ozzy's songs. There's something about his timbre.
Yep.
And the way he projects that is alien to me. It is outstanding.
Yep.
I love it. It works. It's great. It's real singing, and he's actually had some training.
Yeah.
Especially the newer Ozzy.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff he's done in the past, 20 years has been just brilliant. I just can't do it. Somebody says, do an Ozzy song. I go, you got to ask somebody else. And even, I remember one time Jimmy says to me, oh, come on, Livio, I know you can sing anything. Sing an Ozzy song. And I go, all right, Jimmy, so Jimmy decides to play like one of the Ozzy songs from the first Blizzard of Oz thing.
Right.
And I sang it, and directly afterwards, he looked at me and he goes, "You're right."
That's so funny.
He goes, "You're right. Ozzy's not for you."
It's a trip, man. I mean, I sang in that band Metal Shop for years, and we do everything. We do all the old 80s metal bands. When we would do Crazy Train, I would do it, and I would just cringe, going in my mind, going, "This is awful." I couldn't get him either. Meanwhile,
I can't get Ozzy. I just can't get him. And
we could do all these other bands, can't do Ozzy.
Can't do Ozzy. Yeah, you know what I mean? I can do Iron Maiden. I can do, I can do both AC/DCs. You know what I mean? I got, you know what I mean? I basically understand all that stuff. I even have, like, in the past couple of years, I've had a lot of chorus singers come in, as students. You know what I mean? They're, really liking, like, Stone Sour and those kind of bands where they want to sing, but at the same time, they want to get really gruff.
Right.
So, and I've kind of mastered it all. And except Ozzy, I just don't.
Such a trip.
I sound like some guy that can't sing trying to force his notes out.
Right.
It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, that's so funny. I'm glad you said that. That's a great answer. That's killer.
Yeah.
Right, dude. That's great. Well, thanks again, dude. I'm glad you did this with me. That's really cool. And
anytime, Danny, anytime, I remember you very well from back then. And I thought that you were a guy that was like going to get somewhere. Your approach to music was intelligent. You were hungry. You had everything that I had at the time, or Jimmy, or anybody that got somewhere. You had.
That's because I looked up to you guys, and I had to go. I looked up. First time I saw Jimmy play, I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
It was at a drum clinic. He was playing guitar for Sandy Gennaro.
Oh, okay.
At Creative Music in the basement.
Yeah.
And I saw this guy play guitar, and I was just like, what the? And he wouldn't teach. He was teaching, but he couldn't tape me as a student or something. So this funny little story between me and you, you'll love this.
Yeah.
I got a phone call about a month later, no lie, and it was a girl. And she's like, "Hello, is Jimmy there?" And
my phone died right in the middle. Right? My phone just died. So I went over and plugged it in. Then, of course, I had to wait till the Apple came back up.
No problem. I was just going to say that the funny story was the girl was looking for Jimmy.
Right.
And my mother's phone number is 3871. His mother's number was 4871.
Wow.
And I said, "Are you looking for Jimi Bell?" She was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No, he doesn't live here." I go, "But what's his number?" And then I called him, and that's how I ended up getting lessons from him.
Oh, that is great.
And
I remember back in the day, Jimmy thought the world of you too. So,
I love that guy.
Yeah.
I love him
and we still play together, and we're still friends, and we're still close. And in fact, probably even closer now, because we went through so much over the years. We played in bands together. We did jams together.
Yeah.
We did like every Wednesday here, every Thursday there, just to play together.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
So I consider myself a really blessed guy.
It's cool, man. I mean, you guys all deserve to be playing with such great players together. You know what I mean? It's like, it's good to see that. You don't see that a lot, You guys surround each other. You guys are surrounding each other with greatness. So it's really cool projects. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
That's
I
awesome.
agree. And somewhere along the line, I realized that it took more than just one band. We had one band back in the day, and we could play every weekend and survive. Now it's like you play, you got once, maybe twice a month. Yeah. And that's it. So if you want to do it full time, you've got to have, lots of things to do. So.
Absolutely. Well, you do a great dude, and I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Dan. Right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So now, back in the old days, you were Danny to me. Are you Dan now? Daniel? Who called you what?
Call me Frank, Rick, Sally, whatever.
So, all right. I want to make sure that you message me or send me your address.
I will. I'll put it right in the Facebook conversation.
Yes, put it right in there, and
awesome.
I'm gonna grab a couple of CDs and send them out.
Killer.
They're really well done. I play with amazing musicians.
Awesome.
In fact, my bass player plays on all the SKYPE records.
Oh, okay.
And now Michael Sweet, he's a friend of mine as well.
Yeah, you guys did a show together not too long ago. You did.
We did.
You guys played together. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but he records at the same place I record my.
Okay.
We have the same producer and the same. So
you know what? Drop him a line about this, and I'd like to do one with him. That would be awesome.
That'd be great. And I got to tell you, one of the first things when Mike and I became friends, one of the first things was, Mike was like, well, do you find this and what do you think of that? And we started talking voice, you know,
I would think so.
So cool, because it's Michael Sweet, know. It's like
he's a monster too,
and he is amazing these days. His voice is killer. It's fuller, it's bigger, and we had a lot in common because we worked on the different sides of the Boston thing.
Yeah,
he played in Tom Scholz's Boston, and I played in the band with Barry Goudreau and Sib Hashian.
Yeah, it was Sib.
That were on the other side of Boston. They were ex-Boston guys, you know. So we had a chance to really discuss a lot of,
that's
the ins and outs of being around those guys too. So.
Oh, that's so cool, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, maybe if he'd want to do it, I'd love to have him too. I'm trying to try to keep it going. It's just something.
Yeah.
It's fun for me, and I think it's cool for everyone to get to see where real singers come from. Now,
where does this go? Where does this go? What
basically,
do you do with this?
I just put it to YouTube, to my YouTube page, and then I put it in Facebook. I have a Your Vocal Teacher page on Facebook. I put it to there. I have a little forum on there called Singing Answers for Teachers and Singers. I'll put it there.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's on Facebook. And then there's these other Voice Geek forums one's called Voice Geek, and I'll throw those people I don't even know. I just know them from being on the forum, and I throw it to there. So people all around get to see this, you know what I mean, which is really cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, I'd like to hear what you're doing these days.
I just been doing basically the cover band thing. As I got in the Boogie Nights and Spasmatics Metal Shop. That's one company, but there's so many bands. So I was working a lot up until about 4 or 5 years ago. We moved from Los Angeles to San Luis Obispo, so it's 4 hours. First couple of years, I tried to make it work with all the driving. Then I was like, I'm getting too old for this, man. I can't drive 4 hours to get to a plane, to take a plane 6 hours, to take another car ride, to get back in, drive home after the plane. It was too much.
It's too much work. Yeah, boy.
I just put my efforts into teaching now, helping people and singing acoustic gigs around here. I have a trio in the little town here. So I'll play with those guys. And I go into LA and play with my old trio. We've been together for 15 years. So I play with them, and we do all different kinds of music. And that's
I'll be checking your page to see what you put up.
Awesome. Go do that. That'll be great.
Awesome.
All right, Livio. Great talking to you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye,
Take
buddy.
care, Dad. Bye-bye. Bye. Hope you like it. This one's called No More Secrets.